step by step how to make a hand-tied hair jig. Part 2, in depth. Here we go. You're going to want to get your stuff laid out. You will need bobbins with your thread, whipping tool, scissors, some jig heads, some fly head cement, some chenille of choice. You can choose whatever color you want and make any color jig heads. I use eye-hole jig heads. They work really good. Mustad hooks, pull fish for days. And some heckle for your tail. And if you want, some tinsel to make it shiny. Okay, let's get started. What I like to do on the eye-hole jig heads is take a pair of these and clip right around the head. That removes the collar from the head. If you can see right there. Then I take a pair of pliers and I smash it off just like that. The rest of it will come off. Eye-hole jig heads, really good jig head. You can also buy jig heads that don't have the collar. Those work just as good. But I like eye-hole jig heads, so I do this. Let's get started making the jig. Grab you a feather. Will look like this. Just like that. And let's make the materials we need to tie the jigs. Gonna take where this starts to get really looks like marabou. Really cut that off. You don't need that. Then what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to cut our V's. This only needs to be between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch long. So come in there and cut just like that. Oopsies. Dropped it. And make you a V just like that. You can go all the way down until you have no more feather left. Do it again. Just like that. Make you some V's. I'm going ahead and cut the rest of this feather up. Once you get everything cut up, don't sneeze. You'll blow them off everywhere and you have to pick them up. I like to put these in Ziploc baggies. After we make this jig today, we're going to take it to the lake and see if it catches a fish. You're going to want to get yourself a good vise. I got this vise at Bass Pro. I think for 20 bucks. It's not expensive vise. It's pretty cheap. I've wore it out. I need to get a new one. So what we want to do is we want to put this jig head in the vise, just like that. Now, at this point, you're going to want to take some fly head cement and put it on the shaft of the hook, just like that. Now, I'm going to take my thread, which is 210 Ultra Thread white, and I'm going to make some focus camera. Dadgummit. Focus kit. Thank you. Now I'm going to make some twists around the base of the hook. It's really important not to go past the barb of that hook. The reason being is it twists up like that and it cuts your thread. Just like that. See how that hook did that? That's a no-no. We don't want to do that. Okay. Now, let's make our new wraps. I like to wrap a few times here. This is the strongest point of the jig. Just like that. Clip the tag off. Then take your heckled V's that you had cut previously and stack them together. I like to stack 4 V's together like that. That's what it should look like. Stack 4 V's together. Then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to lay it on the shaft of that hook and start wrapping. Now, at this point, it's really important not to wrap it past the barb of that hook. Just like that. Now, at this time, this is where we want to situate our feathers and make them look how we want them to look. Just like that. Now, get your flash. I'm using 5 strands of flash. You're going to want to take it and lay it underneath, just like this. You can lay it down flat on there and wrap it. I find that this technique works best. And then start wrapping it. As you're wrapping, lay it down, just like that. And then come back up, just like that. Now, you're going to want, as you're holding that flash, you're going to want to cut it, even with the tail, just like that. Boy, she's starting to look really good. We're going to call this one Icicle. Now is a good time to add some more glue, just like that. Now you're going to want to take your chenille, and what we're going to do is we're going to pinch a little of the material off right here. We're going to lay that on the shaft of the hook, and we're going to wrap that right there, just like that, and we're going to go back to the head. Now, at this point, you're going to want to wind it. Doesn't matter which direction you wind it, up towards the head of the jig. Just like that. Once it's wound around the head, this is important right here. This is where most jigs fail. It's going to wrap around and then go around the head. A couple of times, back around the chenille, and then back around the head. Just like that, a few times, and then clip the chenille right at the wrapping point. Just like that. Boy, that jig is looking good. At this time, you can half hitch it with your fingers. A lot of guys do this. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to use whipping tool. Push down on the thread. Wrap the thread around the bend and create yourself a Y. Just like that. Now take that Y to the head. Just like that. And I'm going to give myself 4 wraps. I'm going to stop. I'm going to just snug it. And then I'm going to apply some glue. The glue applied. And then I'm going to whip it good. Just like that. We'll pull it. I'm going to pop it off just like that. Now that dude is tight and going nowhere. For good measures, I'm going to add some more glue. This is where most jigs fail. And that jig is complete. That dude right there will catch some fish. Part 3 will be of us catching fish on this jig. Stay tuned. Part 3 will be of me using these jigs to see if they work. Stay tuned.